Hello, everyone. Here's a quick tip on how you can prevent the scrolling motion in the Chaos Phoenix Ocean Map. But first, let me quickly walk you through the setup. Here's an empty liquid simulator. There are no simulation files loaded. You can double check that in the Cache Content window. You can enable the mesh preview in the preview rollout. Since there aren't any particles, no mesh will be generated and displayed. Inside the rendering rollout, however, we have this really convenient option called Pure Ocean. It is currently disabled, but if you switch the meshing mode to Ocean Mesh, it will become available. It will also be available if you choose a cap mesh, and that's what I'm going to use. Right, if you enable it, a water surface will be created even without any simulation being loaded. As a matter of fact, if you do have some cache files loaded, they will be ignored. Keep that in mind. So now you can go into Maps, Phoenix FD, and create a Phoenix Ocean Map texture. Here it is. The settings are at their defaults. You can enable the displacement and add it to the map slot. Right, so this being a map that is meant to be used for oceans, the scale might be too large for a swimming pool. So I'll reduce the control by wind speed parameter. This will make the waves smaller. And we have a decent level of detail. By the way, the resolution of the mesh is controlled by the voxel size of the simulation grid. You can decrease the resolution, making the voxel size bigger. Or increase the resolution and have a more detailed mesh. Obviously, this will impact the viewport performance. I think a voxel size of 1 centimeter is more than enough as a preview. At render time, a more detailed surface will be created anyway, so yeah, that's perfect for now. Right, the ocean map. It's a really nice and convenient and quick way of creating some animated waves that move realistically, and it provides a great level of control. Also, as some people pointed out, using the map doesn't require a Phoenix license. You also don't need a license to load cache files and render any of the Phoenix components. You need a license only if you want to simulate. Okay, this setup might be useful for creating a swimming pool. However, if you play this back, you may notice that there is this pronounced scrolling motion in the -x direction. You can, of course, rotate the map, make it flow in the opposite direction, or any of the sides, but you'll always have this flowing effect. You can decrease the rate of change parameter, sure, this will slow down the movement, but it will also slow down the evolution rate of the wave noise. At 0, it will stop completely. I was wondering why that might be and why it was implemented that way. But this is an ocean texture after all, and this actually creates a very natural-looking movement. There's also this wave force that needs an ocean map input to create this crashing wave effect. And this most definitely needs some directional movement. And the fact that the speed of the wave noise is dependent on the movement is quite nice and ensures realistic results when used for oceans. And for other types of waves, you can, of course, use some of the other noise maps. For example, the standard one. Right, plug it right here, and yeah, the size might be too large. Let me reduce it. Um, yeah, there we go. The standard noise isn't animated. You'll need to create some keyframes for the phase. And this regular Perlin noise might not be the most suitable type for creating waves. You can change it to fractal or turbulence. You can play with the settings and find the ones that make it look more like a wave pattern. And sure, there are other types of procedural patterns. Also, the cellular map might give you a nice looking wave pattern. I'm not sure you can animate this though. Anyway, the Phoenix Ocean map is great out of the box, a real time saver. A lot of people are using it on a daily basis to create gorgeous looking water surfaces. And the fact that it flows in a specific direction doesn't seem to be a huge problem. For outdoor visualizations, it looks like there might be a slight breeze pushing the water. But there might be some situations where you might want to mitigate this effect. Indoor swimming pools, bathtubs, jacuzzis, and whatnot. So here's how to do that. All you need to do is animate the texture's offset in the opposite direction of the movement. Let me increase the wave's height so that we can see it better. Right. I'll move the time slider to frame 10, for example. I'll enable the auto key, and I'll slide the texture to the right. A value of -10 might be good. Let's check the curve in the track view. I need to expand all of these to see the curves. There they are. I'll select both keys and set the tangents to linear, so there is no easing in and out. And I'll open the out-of-range extrapolation type dialog and set it to linear as well. Okay, it looks better this way. By the way, I opened the out-of-range types dialog using a button on the toolbar. If you don't have this button, the option can be found somewhere in the menus. Edit. Controller? Yeah, there it is. Okay, moving on. I can still see some linear movement to the left, so I'll change the value of the second key. Don't ask me why I can't see the value in the field. I guess this is one of the little joyful moments that 3D Studio Max brings into our lives. Let's try -15. Maybe move it a little more. I can't see the new value in the field, but that's okay. I can see that there is no visible directional movement, and that's good for me, right? So the velocity coherence. You can increase it. This will stretch the wave noise and make longer waves, but this might not make much sense since we killed the movement. So I'll bring it back to its default value. I wouldn't increase the wave's crest. With lower velocity coherence values, it's better if you keep this value low. I'll even set it to 0. And for small pool ripples like this, I think I don't need that many levels of detail. Let's try 4. And maybe decrease the control by wind speed value even more, making the wave smaller, maybe 50. Or maybe 65. That's better. Let's reduce the height a bit. Cool. Right, I have a simple geometry in the assets layer. I'll unhide it, and I'll start a render to see what this looks like. Looks a bit noisy to me. I'll try reducing the height a bit more. Maybe decrease the level of detail even further? Oh, and I can decrease the wave's sharpness, making them smoother. Yeah, it looks way better this way. Right, a simple solution that probably didn't need an 8-minute long video. But I've seen quite a few people looking for a solution, so there it is. I'm currently setting up a Patreon page where people can join for free and download simple scenes such as this one. Until then, you can write a comment under this video, and I'll send a link to you. All right, thanks for watching, take care, and goodbye.